Let's wait for Brian. And is this a story about you or your children?
It's my two boys. I
Okay.
have three boys, and two of them I think are, I don't think I know, are injured.
You're the
so-
mum.
Yeah.
Let's wait for Brian.
We're set, we're rolling.
Okay.
Okay, so just forget this camera's here. Just
Okay.
have a chat here. So first of all, tell the peeps who you are.
My name's Sinead Brady. I'm from Dublin, and I have three boys, 9, 6 and 3.
Okay, and you think maybe, well, you know, because you're
I
mummy.
know, well, I definitely know now in the last 6, 7 months that two of my eldest two have been vaccinated and had injuries from them. My third boy, I never got him vaccinated, and he's sort of in the jigsaw, probably the control. I did all the genetic testing, and it all came back, fine. You know, the genetic testing that you can do. But I suppose it starts with my youngest, or my eldest guy, James. He's 9 now, and he didn't seem to be developing properly. He got his first, I've started cease therapy, and when they did the tests against the vaccination, they said the very first vaccination he got seemed to cause the damage, so the Pentavac one. And that would make sense for him, because I never got to see him at his, properly developed.
Wait, so how old was he when he had his first
He
vaccine?
would have, 12 weeks,
All right.
but I always look at James, and he has progressed, so you can see his progression. Where my youngest, or my middle guy, Lachlan, who's been severely damaged, he was absolutely ticking all the boxes for his milestones. Before, you say, walking at 10 months, talking, interacting, really flying it, and I was like, I because I was in the system, I brought him to the psychologist, the doctors, and they said, no, not a hope of autism there, you're fine. The nurse, before she vaccinated him, I was dubious about giving him the MMR at the time, and she said, look, he doesn't have autism, he's fine, and like literally, within a space of 3 months, a different child. His whole leg, I'm so annoyed with myself, you look back and you're going, how did I not notice, he got injured. You're just firefighting, I suppose, at that time. You're there seeing the swelling on the leg, him going into a state. But he's 6 now, so now I'm really trying to reverse the damage that's done. And any time I went to doctors, they were just like, sort of, this is it. When I started looking, it was probably about 2 years ago, I started looking at everything as a whole, because I was what I was offered from the medical field would have been putting him on 10 types of medication indefinitely, for skin, gut, reflux, asthma, bowel problems. And I said, no, you can't, it has to be linked, you know what I mean? There has to be a connection here, that everything is affecting him. It can't be just like we're treating asthma, we're treating the skin, can we look at everything? That's when I start looking into, the GAPS diet and stuff like that for him, and then really thinking about the vaccinations. I pulled out the records there, and I'm just saying his first visit to the hospital was probably 2 weeks after the last vaccination, which was the MC, the MNC that he got, and that's when he really, he wasn't too bad actually, really, after the MMR. He got sick, but after the third one, it was like the straw that broke the camel's back, and that was the end of him. As and I kept on putting him through this, like every 3 months, get more vaccinations on top of, I don't know, but it's just heartbreaking. But like when you see my third child now, and you go, he's not vaxxed, he's never been sick, he's 3.5 now, he is talking, running, doing everything he should be doing.
He said not even the vitamin K.
He got the vitamin K.
Okay, so he got the vitamin K,
Yeah.
but no vaccines.
Actually he got the BCG, that one that they give at, and that was it then.
And when do they give him the BCG?
They give that at, like, they meant to give it in the hospital, but they give it like literally 3 or 4 days after they're born. the polio one, but they don't, I think. they don't-
BCG is the TB vaccine.
Yeah. And they don't give that anymore now. So he now, like I
It's
was,
TB, peeps. Toby had it at birth. I know exactly about that.
that he has, I didn't, they kept on bullying me sort of to get the rest of them at that time, but I just said, no, I needed to wait and see. That's when I started, like again, you're just going with what you're told to do, and you're felt like you're negligent if you're not doing, you know, if you're not giving them the vaccinations. But I said, I had this discussion with my doctor, it'd be so negligent now if I give this third child the vaccinations when I look at the two other boys, if I don't know what's causing it. And at this stage I was in the children's hospital doing the blood tests and getting, you know, for the genetic testing to see was it a family, and that came back no. So I said, I can't give this child vaccinations until he ticks every single box for his milestone, which he is doing. So I don't, it's just heartbreaking to see my middle guy, especially because he was so big and strong, and now he's just like, I don't know if we'll ever come out of the, you know, he only has one word, he's 6.5 now, you know, and he's just, I don't know what type of life he's going to have, you know.
Okay, well the good news is he's 6.5,
Yeah.
and I've seen like kids turn around at that age with the right care. So he's young,
Yeah.
and the younger you can get to them, the better quality of life they've got.
Gotcha.
This should never have happened.
No, it definitely.
And you've done your own Vax on Vax study, by the way, in your house.
Yeah, yeah, this is it. I mean, and like, I look, this is where you just feel so naive. You're looking back and you're going, why? He would have had a reaction. I remember him having a reaction at I think it was the second set of vaccinations. And of course not on the ball, because you're dealing with the eldest guy who's just getting his diagnosis for autism, and you're trying to source, I don't know, you know, therapies there, and you're not focused on what you should be looking at. And I remember the doctor telling me that he had chickenpox and he was only like 8 months, but now that would have been a vaccine injury he had got, and he had a lump on his leg for literally a year. Like, it was like a stone in his leg, you know, and it's just definitely like he has been completely injured, you know, by these.
And again, let's talk about the health of the unvaccinated. Just to summarise up for me, the difference between your vaccination, and let's call your last one a little tiny weeny bit vaccinated, because he's not unvaccinated. But what's the difference between the two sets?
The difference is that he is, I mean, he's running around, he's flying, he has friends, he's playing, he can amuse himself. He can sit there for hours with imaginary games. He's just talking to me. I can have a, you know, discussion with him. He is so nimble. He's running around. He's so agile. You know, he doesn't need to be shown how to do things that come naturally to, you know, where my other two, like, you really have to guide them. They're on a loop where you have to, I mean, I don't, you know, people who live in the autism world will know the schedule, so everything's on a schedule. These picture schedules, you have to show them what they need to be doing next, you know. Where the beauty though of having the third child, and with the cease therapy on my eldest guy, I can see a difference, and they're playing together now. And like, it's like the third guy is like, he's been sent to us, you know, to guide the other two, you know. So that's lovely. But yeah, he's just a different person, and he, you know, while I'm so grateful that I seen the light before, I mean, I know I got him BCG and the vitamin K, but I seen it before. I think the other ones came in. You're looking at the other two boys and you're going, God, what could have been, you know, as well, you know. So it's.
Would you ever let a vaccine go in you or your children ever again?
Never, ever again. Never.
And before, you trusted?
I didn't even question it. I didn't, you know, even I'm thinking back when you know, when I was 12 and we all got the rubella shots in school, you know, and you're just sitting there and and I'm there thinking then afterwards, like, you know, some girls like getting sick after that, and there was no we weren't looking, we weren't going, God, was this causing anything? And no, there's not a hope. I just wouldn't touch that at all. Like
You're done.
yeah, and I think as well, you know, not to be I'm grateful. The one thing I am grateful for this sort of vaccine injury is that it showed me a completely different way of looking at the world. You know, instead of being this, you know, where before you went to the doctor, like they were responsible for your health. Where now I'm there, no, hold on a minute, they're not at all. Like you do get good GP, and I'm not saying they're not, but again, it's a job to them where you really need to take responsibility for yourself and your family. And I don't think I was doing that before. I was just like, oh yeah, go to the GP, they'll make everything better, where they weren't. So I think now, like my middle guy got slapped cheek there the other week, and instead of where before you would have been like paracetamol and, you know, doing
Rush to the doctor.
Rush to the doctor, you know, I just went, you know what, it's old school here. He was literally a week just at home out of school, and we were just monitoring the temperature and cooling it down naturally, and, you know, he was fine, you know. And it's just we're scared of everything now. I feel like we're scared of all these things that, you know, we shouldn't be scared of. You know, I don't know, it's just, no, I wouldn't ever get vaxxed at all.
Is there anything else you want to tell these peeps?
Just thank you to you guys for coming and helping us all tell our story. You know, it's brilliant to be heard, because anytime I try to tell it to doctors or anything, you're just like, it's just like, oh, here they go, you know. And to even have a slight hope for our kids now, you know, is great. Where the medical, they don't want to know, or they don't understand, or they don't, you know. So thank you.
Are you exhausted?
Yeah, I am, but I'm so grateful to tell my story, you know.
It's a lot of pain still in there, you know what, sometimes it's good to have a good cry.
Yeah.
I can see you're so strong, you're like holding it all back.
Yeah, I think if I stopped now, I wouldn't, you know, I probably deserve a good cry, but I think this is quite cathartic telling you. And
you're not telling me, you're telling so many people, these people that are defending your hearts, like they always do. There you go. We love you. And this is We Are Vaxxed, your peeps there behind us, stuck behind there. So
thank you. No, thank you. And I know you're exhausted. You'll have to take a break as well.
We're going home, aren't we, Brian?
10 days.
We're going home, and then we've got 10 days off, which is so exciting. I've got to go cook lots of food for my poor husband before I leave him again. Anyway, thank you.
No, thank you so much, and looking forward to seeing the movie now.
Now you've got to go and find the bus.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, there's something wrong with Periscope.